she's just a girl and she's on fire. There you go, Quack.
All the Pog Totems quag hype quag Chad.
Alright, you guys know the deal. I'm about to sit down and cats decide they really need water. So, 1 second. Okay. Oh, good timing, me. Hello, it is me. I am here. I'm ready to commence with the thing. Yeah, we got the Pog Totems encounter. But it's Ikado. Thank you so much for the 14 months. I really appreciate it. More than you know. Thank you. How we doing, everybody? It's Ikado, loading screen. Roddy, Huntress, Reckless Monster, Swin. Anyone else who might be lurking about, I appreciate you. As the usual. Quiet did it, found a reason to run, stoke the embers over fire and sky down on Firewalker. What's that? So yeah, today, Pog Totems, Ember's Purge, I guess? But, like, I wouldn't run either of those comms for that, is the thing. That's the situation you end up in. Like, at that point, I'd be more likely to use Flare. Yeah, I'd probably use Flare. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think I'd use Flare. I guess maybe Flame, but Flare. So I spent not a huge amount of time putting together the setup for this run. This is going to be C50. Now, Pog Totem could probably go higher. It's just I didn't spend too much time trying to push it farther than that. So we're just going to do C50. That still keeps it in line with most of the other ability damage scaling action skills we've done. We did Barrage on 50. We did... my brain's not working today, if you haven't noticed. We did Dire Sacrifice on C50. I plan on going back to Feral Surge on either 50, 75, or 100, one of those. Blizzard was too bad to be done on C50. And this won't go to the level of melee and spells, which can comfortably do C100. But this can certainly be an enjoyable experience. I don't know what time I expect here. Speaking of, let me get the timer up. But this will give me an opportunity to think of what we're gonna do for the second half of the stream, because I have nothing planned currently. Hey, Stones Fun, how you doing? An actual Pog Totem expert is here for me to ask questions incessantly to. Hey, Pragmatic, how are you? Hey, Soccer Chick. Sorry, Miss Chick. You need to be formal. You need to be formal. You're a respectable business lady. Yeah, the action skills we haven't done yet. Ghostblade, Dreadwind, Reaper of Bones, Plague Storm, Polymorph. Of those, Plague Storm is one I don't have an interest in doing because of the mechanics of that run. Reaper of Bones would be some kind of meme that I've yet to decide yet. And Polymorph would be awkward but doable. Dreadwind and Ghostblade, we could knock those out in one stream easy. That'll be an easy content day. Next time I don't know what I want to do and don't feel like being creative, I do that. I do those two. And then I have had the thought that there's a few other runs I could do, kind of like I could do an Executioner's Blade focused run. I could do a Spirit Swarm focused run, or just dots in general. I could do like a Sigils focused run. There's a few things you could do. But in terms of the action skill centric ones, we're towards the end of the set. Hope you're well today, Jaybridge. Yeah, let's do the thing. I'll stop dragging my feet. I'm trying to wake up a little bit so my brain kicks on. Let's just do it. As usual, I will explain the setup and choices and whatnot. Once we're done with this no dialogue cutscene. But I hope everyone's doing well today. Staying as healthy as you can. And as per usual, eat some good food, wash your ass, and don't use Blizzard. What for mid? Mid is better than bad. Hey Irish, how are you? Ready for the weekend? I feel you there. Under 2 of those 3? You're not gonna wash your ass, are you?
I'm not really here to be a hero or anything.
There's the voice.
It's killing time until death's sweet embrace.
Damn it, he got me. I know you, J-Bridge. I know you because I am you. I did field test this in C50 Chaos Chambers, and a couple bosses took some time. There's some awkwardness with, like, gauging range. Alright, so we got, if these icons and stuff would load. Level 1 Fear Not Strikes, as per usual. This time with the Blight Collar enchant for bonus element on Spirit Swarm and Pog Totem. Pickaxe, spellcast ability, just because it's what it happened to roll Vampire, just because what's happened to be on the pickaxe that I had. This is just here to be a pickaxe. Delusion for when I happen to be using lightning. We got a Theurge, double cooldown roll as per usual for these action skill focus things. Now, this is kind of, I don't want to say a problem for my damage, but like a Barbaload would massively be better for mobbing damage output, and a Protagonizer would be better for damage output in all scenarios. This is primarily so that I can continue to place more totems as I move through maps. It will strictly be worse in boss fights than running Protagonizer or Barbaload. But, you know, we're just going to do it anyway. We got a Frostburn. Brutal Stampede. No, we're Shroom Wraith here. So, this is for extra points and companion damage, and we're doing Pog Totems. Got Sharksbane with cooldown, because I thought cooldown stacking was interesting. Body Rune, pretty standard enchant here. I opted for this for consistency on damage instead of going desperate for the healing. Got a few different elements of Theurge here for whatever I might need. This is a poison one currently. I think I go with that because running poison primary lets me have, or I'll equip the fire one to start with. I'll equip the fire one, and then I'll just use this for a little extra damage on the flesh health bars. I shouldn't need to switch this until like drill. Oh, and hero points, max attunement, max intelligence, remainder, and strength. So we want cooldown, cooldown, and then crit damage. Does Reaper Bones, Amnesia, and Assault Battery sound like good Reaper melee build? It sounds like one of the better ways of doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Assault and Battery is good. Reaper Amnesia is a good combo. You don't really need Reaper there is the big thing. Like, unironically, you might end up getting more damage total out of running Feral Surge for that, Irish. Because you're already in a range, you're at a range where, like, you're going to be taking damage. So Feral Surge gets you in melee range, also lets you claim quick kills that you don't want to spend the time to swing for. And lets you trigger action skill start and end enchants. And there's also a Feral Surge specific enchant that goes in spell slot that is pretty good. Or what? Yeah, you heard me. Because what's your uptime on Reaper going to look like with Assault and Battery? It's not like you're swinging fast. Was the armor? Brutal Stampede. Crit chance, ability damage. Feral Surge can kill T100. Feral Surge insta-kills anything that is below 20% health, so yes. Also, it kills weak enemies at all chaos levels. Exactly what Lacosia said there. Button press to final tick on animation. Feral Surge is sometimes faster than melee swings. Particularly Salt and Battery does not have that much swing speed, and you are not a Frost Shiver, so you don't have haste. So at best, you will have Iron Squall, which by itself, until you get to like more than 5 points, which you're unlikely to have, it's not going to make Salt and Battery swing faster than Feral Surge happens. Okay, starting now. So I don't have much in terms of movement increasing stuff out of combat. It's going to be a lot of just running. But in combat, I'll be better.
Everything crumbles to dust. Even bridges.
%, crit's not ideal for that. That is something to keep in mind with Bereaver. You don't have any of the stuff that really puts Salt and Battery to crazy levels. I mean, other than the gun itself just being nuts. Like, you don't have Shadow Step to chain the crits in the way that, say, Blender can do. You don't have From the Shadows to force the crits either. You're just going to be brute forcing damage and hoping for crits. Which is fine. Like, you're a Berserker, so when Dagger Storm triggers, it will be doing damage. Just know that your damage is going to be, as a whole, probably on the lower side for what you'd expect out of Salt and Battery.
Holiday work. Their end is near. Forgotten line. Those are the best ones. This thing has seen a lot of death. It's just like me. Gee, I wonder if the evil bad guy is beneath that foreboding castle. What a twist that would be. Wow. Can't outrun death.
Oh, the story of Pog Totem, timeless, sure is. I forgot to get ammo, so I have none. Also forgot to make inventory space, so I'm going to be doing that a bit. Already on game trying to storm dire stack builds, too much farm to make it even close to good enough. That's valid. Bereaver is an awkward combo. There's some cool interactions, but it just generally doesn't provide damage as well as most other multi-classes do. It's very survivable, but like, damage ain't special.
Give me a hand here.
This build explanation, Brutal Stampede, yes.
Finally.
It was between Stampede, Claw, and Mosquito. I didn't feel like putting together a Claw, so I did Stampede. Also, the Frostburn Theurge lent itself well to that.
Look, I'm just trying to find the Dragon Lord so I can keep him from coming back. Spirit.
Hey, Pup T, how are you?
Okay, this is more like it. Magic time.
Well, it's cold though, how are you? I'm okay today. It is a bit cold.
Oh, I love a good wahaha.
Take some time until I get a legitimately good Stampede from Bunnies or Redmorn. Still rocking some over average purples and some characters. Yeah, that's just kind of gonna be the reality for things like extremely specific Stampede. Stampede is like one of the biggest cases of part variance across any item slot in any lands game. It's actually kind of nuts.
I'm a fate maker.
Like, Brutal Stampede is an item that is morally correct to save edit. It's not even encouraged, it's just outright morally correct. Blast Chill worth it in endgame, damage started falling off for me. If your Blast Chill is not doing damage, then you are not doing damage. Blast Chill isn't even something you invest to make stronger, it's something that just gets stronger as your melee hits do more damage.
You're gonna have to bring more evil than that, Dragon Lord.
Hand over the problem, make the day only. Okay, I'll fuck it up, buddy. I appreciate it, Puppy. I appreciate you. Seriously. It's nothing. Let's call it generalized stuff.
Dragon Lord.
Stampede seems like Amalgam even worse. It's worse. Because Amalgam is like, because of the nature of how those passives roll, it hits so many categories that your chances of getting nothing useful slim to none. With Stampede, you can just get everything to be awful in all of the slots. Pretty easily. It's like, oh, okay. And like, with Stampede setups, you tend to want something very specific. Like, for melee setups that run Stampede, you really want that crit chance. So imagine not getting that. You get, like, gun damage instead. It's like, oh, okay. That just doesn't work for this build. Whereas with an Amalgam, you're just going for stats that are not necessarily crucial to an interaction. You're just going for, like, make me stronger. So it's easier to settle for an Amalgam than it is for a Stampede. Also, Amalgam comes from anywhere, and Stampede is a Redmorn drop. Of course, it goes in the World Drop pool after you've done Redmorn 4, and Redmorn 4 is, unlike Imelda and Theodore, it's not really a hard lockout for a large swath of builds, but it is like, you could find yourself playing a character that just can't get the item without realizing.
More hands make less jerkbags to kill. Enjoy your vacation. Magic, yes, go!
That's the only other thing I could think of. Brutal Stampede sounds easier to get set up, plus, yeah, the Urgent Frostburn. Yeah, I thought about Miasmic Mail for a bit. Like, totems can apply dots like everything else. Not everything, but almost everything else. So that would have been an option, but I figured that would be less interesting. Because it's not like Melee where... It's not like Cleansing Flames where Alchemical Agent is pretty much the option. Totems can stand on their own without alchemical better than Cleansing Flames can without alchemical, even though when you put everything on the table, Cleansing Flames goes higher because of alchemical than totems do unrestricted. If that makes sense. Probably not shell casings. Shark's Banes. Strikes equals gun. I'm using strikes here because they're flying companions specifically. So flying companions have their own cap, and then hydras have their own cap. So it was between those and hydras, and I have hydras covered with frostburn. So it's the only reason I'm using strikes here. Like, I'm not using a barbaload. Nor am I doing melee. So they're just kind of there. I made them level 1 so they don't do damage. Hey, Errol Halifax, good to see you. Hope you're well. Enjoying this great day. It could certainly be worse. Is it always worth going 3 out of 3 Ascension and using spells at all? Put the points to melee skills. I mean, if you're a melee build, then you prioritize stuff for melee. If you're a spell build, you prioritize stuff for spells. Ascension is the second biggest boost to spell damage you can get in a skill tree. The biggest being spell weaving. So, second only to spell weaving is a big number. But if spells are not the focus of your build, it's less likely to be relevant to you. Ascension is Graveborn? Yeah. Good job, Totem. Game change in any way? You're gonna have to be way more specific. What kind of time frame are we talking? Omgla. Has the game ever changed? Yes. Has it changed in any way since when? And in terms of, you know, they still rotate the featured run and the vendors every week. If you mean like a balance hotfix or anything, that hasn't happened in a few months. Enemies? There you are. Exactly the same as release day. Is your class setup? Shroom Wraith. Oh, Spore Warden is the second class. because Spore Warden has the most ability damage in tree, and Spore Warden has the most companion damage in tree. Those things combined with Wrath of Nature means that Spore is the best secondary class for boosting Pog Totem. Also, the armor combo just kind of works out very favorably.
I got other stuff going on. Dark stuff.
Getting the cooldown stacks from pickaxe. Now, cooldown stacking the way I have done in the setup is not optimal because of the way cooldown calculation works. Like, stacking too much just starts to become less desirable. But the thing with that is, we all remember how Amara was before they fixed Expedite, where stacking cooldown's still not optimal, but she needed it so desperately you just did it anyway. So that's what I'm doing, just to make sure I have totems here. See if is kind of open to push more. It probably could, J-Bridge. It's just, based on my experience on Chaos Chamber bosses at C50, I was like, alright, this is a pace where it's still fast, but I need to participate, and it's still interesting to watch. This could go higher, it's just I don't know how much higher, and I didn't sweat this as much as I did Cleansing Flames, for example, or Blizzard. Trick would be getting Assault and Battery, I'd have to face her. I would do it on a different save. Any save you want Assault and Battery for, you don't want to fight her on that save. Because then she'll just be in your boss pool. You don't want that. Do it on a different save. Melda's little helper. Oh, speaking of, this build actually does really well against her. Like, I was testing the chamber last night, and like the second run, after I had the full setup, it was her. But it actually went really well, because Pog Totem just hits her like a normal enemy. Wow, I've never been cliffed there before. It's a first for everything, you know? That's crazy. Should be a Quag Chat to fight the best boss in Lands game history. Yeah, you do it. Hey Snow, how you doing? Please don't stab with Exit Blade setup, you can choose her from below with Queen's Cry Tasers. Yeah. Emily, hope all is well. Just pop in and say hi. Having a fantastic weekend. It's good to see you, Shay. I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, Era. How you doing? I am existent. But Pog Totem's fun, so that's cool. How are you? Existing, bro, that's like really hard. Honestly, sometimes, yeah. Oh no, is Twitch doing a fucky wucky? People's badges are popping in and out of existence for me. See, existing is hard. Confirmed.
I mean, I'll go meet the queen.
The Mayan too. Yep, Twitch doing a thing. See, every other time this has happened, the whole site's crashed for like an hour. Don't have to fight Imelda 4, right? Just roll the wheel. I don't remember which weak Salt and Battery comes from. It's like 2 or 3, I thought. It might be 4, I don't remember. Someone probably knows that better than me. But you're gonna have to fight her to some extent on a character to get it in the wheel. But yes, it is from the wheel once you've fought her. Corporation like Twitch can't get existing right. How are we supposed to manage that? Corporations are people, according to the US government. But she takes long as she's small and moves. You also have to move constantly. Yeah, it's not out of any difficulty. It's just more frustration and lack of functional hitboxes.
You think I'm cute? Womp. I kinda liked her old...
You can't put a corporation in jail, right?
They have places to stink up and no
Slightly
fun
green is
place.
people too. So true, bestie. The lemon isn't saying anybody know. The official site would have it somewhere, Irish. If you can find the hotfix notes for, like, they do have them archived there. If you can find the hotfix notes for the day that that DLC 2 came out, then they listed it there, I believe. Which day it's from, which week it's from.
One more for the soul fire. Also like sweetie stuff. So not you. Magic, Jack, go!
Wow, we're already at 62? I've been hitting the button a lot, huh? Gotta make sure I don't spam it. I don't know if I've been on top of that or not.
Can't outrun death. Their end is near. So don't touch it.
So far, what's been your favorite, most fun of the ability challenges? I know it's not Blizzard. Feral Surge was really fun. Cleansing Flames is probably my favorite, though, because it did so well. Like, I put a lot of effort into that build, and it really paid off in a big way.
Sulfur and brimstone are nothing next to this. Hey, who is that?
Remember seeing Butterboom being significant at some point? Am I imagining things or not? Oh, Butterboom's good.
Fate does not divide us. Fate brings us together.
Switch to poison. 69 Pog Totems. Him do be pogging his toes.
The alive thing clearly not working for you.
Second forum, thanks for telling me the website. Thanks for telling us, Irish. I wasn't sure which week it was. Thank you for checking. Go have fun. Yeah, have fun not fighting Imelda. That's key. That's the most important step. Dialogue skip will be done when I next play Wonderlands. I'm really liking dialogue skip for allowing me to, you know, do a lot of these challenge runs at once. Like, we've done more playthroughs of this game in the last week than I've done playthroughs of Lands games in, like, the last couple years. Hey, Archie Ninja, how you doing? Fighting her with Chaos off gear C50, and just making sure you're doing it on a save other than the one you're gonna swing Assault and Battery on, right? Right?
Or are you good to go?
Dog. Yeah, the mushroom is dog. Doing a lightning shock build? Good. Good, good, good.
I'm not thrilled about being perceived by the public in bright daylight, but thanks, I guess.
Should have run over here first, but couldn't remember in the moment. I needed to go here first or somewhere else.
Overlord of darkness. Either or.
Yeah, the big thing about this is I really don't have any movement speed. Like, I don't have any on my gear. My one skill for it, my two skills for it require me to be in combat. I suppose I could lightning dot myself for movement speed. Like, in theory. It's not even doing the thing. Yeah, I guess having a way to lightning dot myself would be the way, but I can't, so. Don't even have a passive on armor because for whatever reason, it's placed in a cluster that I needed something else from. My friend's never played pre-sequel, bought it for him as a late Christmas gift. To be honest, it's my favorite Lands game for like starting his first playthrough today. That's fun. EPS is a cool game.
Oh, cool, the pyramid. Love that place. Great vibes. Wait, no, I'm thinking of the Obsidian Hate Cathedral. What's the pyramid? I know Miss Goody Four Shoes is gone, but can I still get knighted?
Love how Mike just teleports because he hasn't gotten far enough in his dialogue, so the game just moves him here.
Do you have any ships? Ideally painted black and with black sails, and the figurehead is an even blacker black called Hell Black? I love when musicians die. It actually gives their songs meaning.
I'm meaning to try this. Probably saves me a few seconds. Because it's fun, just the farming sucks. I mean, that's how I look at all the games. I don't like farming in any of them, so. Puts you on this side, so it's probably not actually faster because of the length of my load screens. It's good info. I think I have TPS, never played it. It's good. It's better core gameplay than BL2 while having the same sort of vibe. But like it also has some of the coolest character skill tree design. Biggest complaints about TPS is it's more sparse on content than the game before and the game after it. And the pacing of the playthrough and the scaling when you're climbing through like TVHM, UVHM hits some questionable speed bumps. Also, the farming is sometimes quite awful. But landscape farming being awful is what people ask for and then hate when it happens. Also, it's one of the best DLCs in the franchise. Yes. Flaptastic's great. It's in the Handsome Collection? Yeah. It is kind of cool to just post up in the middle of a map next to my totems and spawn pets until the room's dead. I'm sure this is how people expected pet classes to play in this game, or hoped they would play at high chaos, but just kind of doesn't hold up. Glitch weapon's also one of the few things that actually felt like its own rarity. Yes, another good example. Yeah, we'll try it out. Started playing The Last of Us 1 last night because I needed a game to play. Picked it up a while back and it was free. It's only a few days until the Dead Space remake comes out. It's only a few days until Forspoken comes out. I most likely will not even attempt to stream Forspoken because system requirements, but I will attempt to play it.
So dank and creepy. Feels like I'm buried in my own grave. I love it.
Yeah, Dead Space remake as well. Big Pog.
You act like you've never seen a bunch of ghosts before. You're welcome. Patience. Dirt. I am darkness incarnate, but also I'm on a quest to defeat the Dragon Lord because he's trying to be more evil than me, and I need to cross the ocean. How does a loop not work? Have you tried, like, keep hitting stuff with it? That seems to be working great.
This does pretty well for C50. Like, well enough that this could visibly go higher. Just, playing to comfort level. Which is important. I have enjoyed showcasing that despite my tendency to play on the highest difficulty, because that is what I personally enjoy, that I do also use the lower ones. And that everyone should be in the habit of being willing to do so. Whether you do it or not, well, that's a you thing, but dismissing it out of turn is just like, who told you you feel that way type situation, you know?
I'm the only one who breathes around here. Looks like I'm staying alive. Whatever.
Yeah, bizarre. Can't do it at C100, it's trash, the game sucks. Understandable.
That's what you get for being nosy.
Are those the Poggin? It's going. I think the counter for this is going to be very high. We already broke 100 in the Weep Wild Dankness. So,
Bonus points.
I am spamming the totems.
More hair. Make a what?
Spam is just kind of the point, though. Feels wrong to make any judgments based on that. Yeah, that's true.
I survived much worse.
Like, Blizzard wasn't good because of the low count. Pog Totem won't be bad because of the high count. I'm just kind of surprised at how frequently I'm actually pressing the button while not mashing it.
Actually, that's where boys are. Again.
I did need that ammo.
Spirit, help me out here.
I felt like my Shroom Wraith underwhelmed the totems anyway. It's one of those things where you either need to brute force with a lot of them or integrate other stuff alongside them. Kind of like how Blizzard needs stuff alongside it. But in this instance, it'd be like, you could do a dot focus instead of this. You get Spirit Swarm as well, and you just have totems applying dots and Spirit Swarm going out and taking out the big threats while totems chip everything else. Like, that's an option. You could also go the play the angles route and have your Shrikes just doing play the angles damage to everything while your totems are just existing. Apparently, Phantom Liberty is a DLC with the highest budget CDPR has ever done. Consider how much work must have went to Blood and Wine. That has to be a lot of money. Yeah, that's interesting. I hope that part of that is due to the very positive reception of Edgerunners kind of rebooting the IP's reputation. So they're like, oh, we can throw money at this. Cool.
It's that one.
Dingling on thingy thing. Alright, best part. It's still good in dialogue skip too. That's my favorite bit. That and the feedback since patch 1.5 has been pretty positive. I think there's something there. Yeah, patch 1.6 in particular was really good. I really like that one. Skeptic in me wonders how much of that budget is Idris Elba. That is a good question, considering it's been reported on multiple occasions that they restructured the entire game after they got Keanu on board. Like, the entire plot structure was overhauled, so there could be more of him once he agreed to be part of it. So it could be that kind of thing. Torger's so cool looking away from the explosion. Yeah. Stampede doing a lot of work here? Absolutely. Let's think about it. We're getting a stack from Mushroom, and then we're getting up to 4 from Totems. And then you can have up to 15 Flying Companions, and up to 6 Hydras. So I'm not going to have all those at once, but you could reasonably say I have, what, 5 Shrikes, 4 Totems,
Yeah, man, it turned into a ride.
Class Companion, and then 6 Hydras. So I could feasibly be running around with 16 stacks of Stampede on this setup. Could go higher if I had more reload speed. Like, I did make myself reload speed rings to try out instead of the companion ones, but I found that my ammo burned away too quickly.
Is that any scent on you? Oh, the swamp rot?
TPS, same situation as 3 in Wonderlands. IMO skill trees are so interesting from both crafting perspective, and I'd rather theory craft save it than farm. Yeah. I think that's the general consensus among the TPS enjoyers, that the characters being interesting is what carries the game. And that is probably why the people who consider themselves arbiters of true lands gaming shat on the game until BL3 came out. They shifted their ire elsewhere. Because it's not a farming game, it's a gaming game. So the same people who you see dunking on 3 in Wonderlands used to do it about TPS, it's just they no longer do because there's newer things to shit on. Sended Pog Totem of Trials. Hey Asa, how are you? You'll see the more technical-minded people. None of them dislike TPS from a skill tree perspective. Some people who don't care much for the game outside of that, like Lazy has some well-constructed arguments on what he doesn't like about it, for example. You'll see players of every stripe, from theory crafters to modders like Epic. And the spectrum of preferences on like what makes TPS great. People have different answers, which I always find very interesting. Like, if it does enough well that you can put together a room of 10 people and they'll very likely all give different answers what it did well, that's good. That means you did something right. Skill tree love, characters love, anti-grav can burn. See, I like the anti-grav because BL2 feels like you're crouch walking through molasses at all times. May as well let us do it in another dimension. Exactly, like Timothy's tree is just so fucking amazing. There's so much you can do. Yeah. Love the game, the characters, their trees, and all the stuff they're capable of. Another fun fact about TPS, it is the only Lands game that did not downgrade its predecessor's UI.
The dead are so much more accommodating than the living.
Think about it. BL1 UI, great. BL2 UI, still good. Some questionable changes, but still good. TPS UI is just the BL2 UI. BL3 UI, we started having problems. Wonderlands UI, you know. TPS is the only entry that didn't take a step back there. I think that deserves some applause. Wonderlands UI? You don't want to see your guns in the menu? No, I mean, I enjoy waiting for my bank to load page by page. Also, I like when the game gets confused about whether to display status chance or elemental resistance on my items. Then we'll snapshot a value from one, and then put it on another one of the wrong type. Feel forced to just go minimalist? I agree. Bring it back to basics. Laughs in Godfall inventory. Godfall, my beloved. Inventory, a gun. No UI better than Wonderlands UI. I don't know if I'd go that far, but like, sometimes Wonderlands UI is no UI. PL4s can randomly generate up to one gun. Not necessarily the one you have in your backpack. But it will show you one. Oh, but in seriousness, like, we don't need fully rendered item models in our inventory. That just makes the performance worse and no one cares about it. Just, you know, bring that back to BL1 status. We don't need our character taking up as much of the screen as it does without a way to move. Like, BL2 TPS, you can just move the UI so that if your character was blocking something, they're not anymore. 3 Wonderlands, your character is just a third of your screen, and you can't do anything about it. whole point of UI is to convey useful information, right? In a stylistic manner. What is stylistic about conveying no information and not functioning? The question of could versus should. Like, you could fully render every single item model down to the individual parts on your variant, but, like, should you do that? Let's see the text UI from OGPL1 come back. Yeah, I would like that as well. Hey, Ember, how are you? Every time you look in your inventory, it changes. Well, weird for one the bank to go back to being tied to the character with banks STUs that would be done away with entirely, offering more storage space per point. Yes, that is weird. What does giving people less flexibility in how they collect items accomplish? Like, what is making people forget which item is on which mule do, positively? There's no merit in it, so it doesn't need to change back to that. How's the quest to become the Bog Champ going? It's going well. The action skill performs quite nicely. Even though we have it constructed in a way where we did give up a lot of damage just to be able to place them more frequently, due to the nature of, like, in a playthrough, you're covering more ground than you are in, say, a Chaos Chamber run, right? Chaos Chamber, you just put it in a room and then you just operate within that room. Playthrough, I need to be able to place it frequently. Called out of work for the day due to the storm. Ooh, stay safe. But I hope you enjoy the downtime. Notice the difference in what I've done with the dialogue skip and you the other files that move cut it even more. Ooh, what else did you manage to achieve? The silent cutscenes thing? Was there one for those? The, like, the audience style ones, like the very beginning and the Dragon Lord's monologue. Is there one for that? And I assume there's, of course, some for the player voice lines too. Brain personally just gets bugged by the shared bank. I get why it was done, just personally not a fan. I can't say I understand, but yeah, it's better this way. Also, the option to inspect the items, because I love looking at every model's intricate designs. Yeah, just keep the inspect button. It can render in that screen, it just doesn't need to render in your UI at all times. And before BL4 UI, the HUD during gameplay also renders your equipped items. When you take damage, a fully rendered model of your currently equipped shield pops up on the screen. Need better sorting and filtering of the bank. Yes, which should absolutely be shared. Yes. Zero downside having both a per save tab and a shared tab, assuming, of course, it doesn't mean the shared tab will become smaller. Well, the thing is, the more slots they add, the worse it performs. We see with Wonderlands giving us more storage in every area, and continuing the trend of doing bells and whistles that they don't need to. that the performance got just simply worse. And by accounts of people I've interacted with and my own experience of using mods to expand the BL3 storage, whether that's backpack or bank, the performance does degrade. So adding a separate tab, you know, I think by its nature would pull from what they would be able to allot for the primary tab. So there is no way of doing that without making the shared tab suffer. So why do you need a character-specific storage if you could just have one that works for both? Is my reasoning. You're grabbing lucky dice at the beginning of the game or wait. I mean, they're gonna help you at every point in the game. They're good XP during a playthrough. So, like, grab the ones that are along your path. You don't really need to go super out of your way. Keep in mind, lucky dice are also account-wide, so once you've gotten them on one character, you have that one on every character. So it's something you only need to do once. I managed to get to Karnok's Wall beginning yesterday with a dialogue skip, but also just do all collectibles, not main story. Yeah, I don't have the patience to do all collectibles. I've done it a couple times. I'm over it. I've only done full dice once. I've done the other stuff multiple times, and I don't bother with any of it anymore. Luckily, I don't have to bother with dice, but... Your inventory renders the entire base of your character to hold the fully modded weapons. Yes. You kind of missed the song. You still get the instrumental. Poison here. Switching to poison now because I'm going to use poison on drill. Saves me menu later. Also poison's better against bone than fire is, so there's also slightly faster of a chance. Song of Woe heard cross the sands. It do be like that. Dialogue skip mod except Bones' song. Yes, we know it's Wellerman. Stock. And I really like the overworld. It does feel empty after you've gotten the collectibles. But I still think it's conceptually just way better than vehicles. Vox Machina Season 2 started yesterday. Neat. I've still never watched Critical Role or Vox Machina. It's one of those things, there's so much that it's like, I don't have time for this. Imagine having to walk everywhere with you only be able to respawn, save quitting, fast travel stations, and map transitions. Yeah, ugh, no. I think saying Mr. Wonderlands after revisiting BL3 is the amount of spawn points. It is worth noting that that's a lesson they did learn after BL3's release. Like, they made it better in BL3 than it was in previous titles, but there's a few key, like, vending machines and stuff that they had to add in post-launch. Like, you know the one, on a Phoenix at the start of the bridge that goes over the Trant section of the map? That was added post-launch. That wasn't always there. I believe the one by Katagawa Ball was also post-launch. And they've edited a couple of spawn points as well. Jacob's Estate, that one as well, yeah. The one right before Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember, but it's possible. It's ironic, I've not watched the show at all yet. I say this since, I watch every episode of their mainstream show. Devoting the time to new things, even new things from creators and sources you're familiar with, is sometimes difficult. It makes sense to me. I don't think it's weird. But obviously that's an outside-in perspective. Currently replaying BL1 on Switch. It's painful time for save respawn locations. Yeah, there's some very nice quality of life things that happen with every new entry, as good sequels always do. Which always makes it amusing to me when people make these blanket statements, just clearly trying to be part of the hate mob. Like, this new one improved nothing. Like, you don't even believe that, but you're saying it. BL1 DLC Spawn Fast Travel is really bad. It's bad enough that it's memorable to me, despite the fact that I have not played the BL1 DLCs since 2012? 2013? It was after BL2 came out, I replayed them again. But it's been over 10 years since I played BL1 DLC. Subtitles still bugged. This happens in both 3 and Wonderlands. I don't know if it happens in 2 or not. But when a voice line that's supposed to play gets interrupted, sometimes the subtitle gets stuck. This happens in an unmodded BL3 as well, with certain ways of skipping dialogue by triggering other dialogue. I'm sure you can do it in this game too, without editing the files or anything. It's just something that happens. Been supposed to doing things which just want to crack. Don't let me be a bad influence, Miss Chick. Come on, I'm rooting for you. You can do the thing, whatever the thing might be. Soccer Chick described my work week. A friend of mine and I used to share the work with BL1 DLC. One of us would get to where we both needed to be on the map and spawn a vehicle, the other would just teleport to that. Smart thinking, yeah. I wonder if that's the inspiration for Digiclone Swap. Just people playing Borderlands 1 DLC. Crabs are aggressive. Love when a DLC only has one fast travel, you can only spawn at fast travel points. Find faster to run than slide cancel. The difference is negligible. I do believe slide canceling is slightly faster, but I am also arthritic, so long periods of slide canceling causes me pain, so I don't do it. Like, I'll do it for short windows of time, like Snowdrift stuff in BL3 I can do, but... First Voice Line was also stuck yesterday, it just happened again, but it continued to be stuck. I believe it just happened again. One time it helped me in Revolution, I was getting by some claptraps, needed to escape. That's a smart way of getting around that. Not like there's a leaderboard you're competing against. Yeah, yeah. The only thing I'm competing against is me, and since I'm not doing the slide canceling on any of the runs, it's not technically a loss. See it. I can do it, it's just the start hurting my fingers.
We have places to stink up in no time. So like spooky stuff.
Obligatory drill is so cool. Comment drill is very cool. Now I can go out there and place totems to get some free damage in the early phase, but my HP is tiny enough that I'll probably die doing that. That's greedy, so I'm just gonna wait. Pog Totem. Daryl's jacuzzi. Oh, Daryl spilled Sudafed in the jacuzzi again. Nice pain, gotta admire his appendage. Yes. Look how long it is. I thought about Drill's lower half. I always think about Drill's lower half. Sorry, you can't bonk me. I'm unbonkable. Lean Koozie making me taste the feeling of hardwood floors. You are the bonk. Real. The fins, Strimmer. Shoot the fins. Okay, we probably run Cryo for Karnok's Wall. We can get soaked. No, we run Lightning. So we can get soaked and have better initial damage against Blastard.
Wait, did you die? Oh, so jealous. What's your name?
You know, can make the overworld even better. What's that?
That's a dick move. That's the kind of sloppy soul ripping that proves the Dragon Lord isn't cut out for villainy. I'm gonna go kill him. I can't wait.
Shut up, Roddy. Hate you. Blastard? You okay? Okay. What do you have with that lower burger half? Mainly a patty on the floor. How long's it been on the floor? I'd eat it. Hey Denalia, how you doing? Hey Pericles, good to see you. Hope you're well. What am I doing? It is a day that ends in Y. Pog Totem is fun though. Here we go.
Okay, I want that. Teach me. Whoa, are you possessing me? That is so cool. I don't know what that is, but it looks rad as all hellfire.
No. I had too much movement speed. I tried to turn. That's the fastest challenge so far. Spells on C100. Spells on C100 was an hour and a half for the entire run. Yeah, I've cliffed twice this run. Trying to word this so the answer to it wouldn't just be go play Chaos Chamber. Only one that doesn't end on G. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure, so I was staying silent. That's interesting. Spell's kind of expected. Yeah, yeah. We used a Wicked Gossip in one hand and a Trickster Ice Spike in the other. I think double Trickster Ice Spike would have been faster, but I'm not gonna fall in the bone hole this time. Promise. You can take aspects of what makes Chaos Chamber great, integrating directly into Overworld. Separating into multiple messages. Okay. Overworld, I'll be able to loop certain dungeons so I could run them over and over. It'd be cool if, like, I know this was done before Skyrim, but Skyrim popularized this model of when you clear a dungeon, you unlock an exit that is an entrance, like a little shortcut, stuff like that. Just let you get back in without having to do the requisite stuff. While still, being in the dungeon. That energy. I keep him distracted. He missed it. Yeah. The bone hole has no hold over me.
You know what this place needs?
Also, most of the time, to rely on enemies being closer together, Trickster's Eye Spike like a fly. Tries to... Yeah, Trickster Eye Spike can just turn on a dime. Is the big thing. It's a faster projectile that does functionally the same thing. Now, the damage is way lower than what a Gossip can do, but in a playthrough, that doesn't matter. Enemies don't have enough health for that to matter. It's also got better range, which makes it better for Bernadette and Phase 2 Drill. It's easy. How are you? Got a little too much gas there. Almost cliffed again. Here's the movement speed. I've been doing this the whole run. We'd have saved a bunch of time, but it's fine. It's not really that many areas where it would have helped. Ward Tooth. Weak Wild. No, not Weak Wild, because we're at Cord. It helped Ward Tooth. It helped Ground Abyss, but not that much. Like, I'm just pretending it's not happening. This is so normal at this point. Quag the clock. And yeah, Karnak's wall is really fast with movement speed. Like, we're already almost done. Spent again. You want me to leave some cab fare in the chat for you? And at least shower first. Better be gone by the time I'm out of the shower. Only in Drill's bathwater. You mean in Daryl's Sudafed jacuzzi?
Living in a skull is a total bucket list item for me.
Man, that's a sentence. You know a lands game is a lands game when it just makes you say questionable things. Yep.
Kicking souls out of bodies has always been my passion, but recently it's become a career.
I wonder if it's warm.
Now teach me your anti-hex magic.
No, yeah, like, is it warm or is it cold? It's probably cold, because, like, Drill's a fish, right? Like, you're at what was the bottom of the sea? It's probably cold. Maybe sub 2? I'm thinking definitely sub 2. Everything always scaled to your level even during playthrough in Wonderlands? Yes.
Yes, 1000%
Well,
mess with my soul.
areas have minimum levels. Areas have minimum levels. That's still a thing. So you can be under-leveled, but you can't be over-leveled.
Yes, finally. Who's got unrealistic life goals now, Mrs. Wazowski?
If my memory is correct. Always gotta put that asterisk when you're not sure, right? Because I know some people have done, like, completionist runs where they do everything the game allows them to do before fighting the Dragon Lord. I don't remember how that ends up working out with his level scaling, because I've only ever fought the Dragon Lord under-leveled. But that is my second-hand recollection. Yeah, cool. Thanks, awesome. There's a lot of lava on the bottom for some reason. You might think there'd be less lava with all the water that's been there before. You see all those cool videos of active volcanic like eruptions, usually surrounded by water. Like the juxtaposition is kind of satisfying to look at. It's probably why they did it in the Vigia game. Taco Bell does that. You eat Taco Bell? I bet you shit from your ass. You degen. Disgusting behavior. I don't do that. Oh, understandable. Sorry, man.
More death wishes to grant. I suggest you get along. You'll be joining them soon. Yes, leading was so awful.
I'm a lady, good sir. I dare you accuse me of that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ladies don't poo. Okay, we've got it from 3 sources. I think it's confirmed now.
Dead lightens up any party. Totally. No mortal could possibly ken this. Now I just gotta take down the Dragon Lord, and that takes care of
It's really not my place to argue that. Of the so-called lady, I beg to differ. It's sleight of hand. Sleight of ass. Sleight of ass. It's not real. Anyone's had to clean a food service restaurant, just saying. Anyone who's done custodial work, that includes me. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just put this totem here and let you
Yeah, for the overworld to actually stay relevant, something you have reason to go to is you log specific unique items behind the random encounters, or you recycle the cache chamber to instead something you interact with by walking around overworld without some order. If you make sin of red encounters. Said random encounter the level of cache chamber, why would you not put cache chamber?
enjoy your vacation.
Well, they did that mini event where every week they had an enemy that you can only find in the overworld. They gave it like raid boss HP and damage and added a dedicated drop to it. Something like constantly rotating like that would be a good way of adding overworld value. Tried a backbrace or corset? I have not.
Time to put someone in a cast.
This is pretty efficient. I like this. We've kind of settled into the rhythm properly.
Time to play Ghost.
Black Mini is honestly amazing. Alarming. Alarming, amazing. Two different things. So you upgraded.
Patience. Overrated.
Yeah, I'm still on the old operating system, so unfortunately I just, you know, the dumpy doobie dumping.
Pet rags. Also like sticky stuff.
Yeah, this should comfortably sub 2. Now, part of this is I've gotten more competent at these runs. It would be kind of interesting to do some of the really early ones again. I know I keep saying that, and Feral Surge is one that I'm most likely going to do. But it's cool to see how run knowledge shapes these, even without me specifically... Like, I specifically avoided doing any kind of routing or anything for this. Kind of full sending. But you get experience organically as you play the game more. Which is such a simple concept, but it is often overlooked. It's part of why I always recommend to people that they don't skip endgame progression loops. Things like going up through the mayhem levels. You don't go from 1 to 11 on your first time. Things like that. Why people asking for carries to Chaos 100 is like them actively sabotaging themselves. Spirits was for theater. I ended up putting on some weight over the course of the show and tore it towards the end. So Grains of Salt wasn't like I was wearing it all day. It does keep your posture for posture back stuff. My posture is terrible. I slouch all the time. Like, I just swapped from slouching to slouching slightly less. And it already makes my back hurt. Yeah, we still got Bones' lines on the screen. Amazing. You're not supposed to do that in that order. That's new. That's a very fast nightmare. Feels good. Using earlier areas is something you have an incentive to do. To me is always important to me. Different games do that concept different ways. Yeah. Responsible reuse definitely enhances cohesion. When done incorrectly, it feels lazy. When not done at all, it makes the world feel empty. There's no one solid answer. This is playing out. 1 second, BRB. Alright, be back. Quack Vanish, former search party. The party? Wonderlands reuses some of the random encounter rooms. Godfall reuses the elemental realms and dreamstones. A lot of PoE maps, one-to-one reuse story area tile sets. Remnant from the Ashes survival mode is a really good example of map tile set reuse done well. And of course, Diablo 3 does that. It can be done very well. Outriders, another example of Borderlands said, yeah.
Every day
Much as I love going through stuff like Opportunity and Bloodshot and be able to zero reason to do that besides just playing the game. Yeah, other than seeking out good mopping, it's like, that's it. I really like Heroes Pass mobbing and Bloodshot mobbing. Probably my two favorite non-peak areas in that game. Hey Dogman, which of these action skill challenges have been easiest, hardest, favorite? Easiest was the Ambihextrous run. That was the fastest and just very quick and painless. Hardest? Like, I guess Barrage was the hardest. None of them have been hard because I've been playing appropriate difficulty levels, right? Barrage was probably the hardest. Least favorite was Blizzard, because it was just the worst. But it wasn't hard, it was just a lot of waiting, and it being bad and frustrating, non-functional.
Wipe your shoes off at death's door.
I was hoping I could make that. I was hoping my move speed would kick in midair. It didn't. Like, I can totally make it from here to there. Why am I getting sidetracked by this? Anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to finish before 2 hours. I'll stop throwing. Or someone just try to BL2 Death Trap only run? I wouldn't know, I didn't watch that. That is a different human being from me. But I would hazard a guess at saying yes, worse, because I do my challenges and stuff with endgame difficulty scaling on.
Seals from beyond. Heed my call. Whatever.
Hey, Dex. Thank you for the 20, is it 26 months? Is that? Time's weird. Time is really weird. Thank you so much. It's been a great human and awesome streamer, GG's. I appreciate it, I appreciate you. And, Dex, thank you for DMing me about dialogue skip. That's made these so much easier to bang out. So, huge shout out to Dex for making, these runs so much more efficient. Come back from meetings, you're almost done. Yeah, we've really nailed down efficiency with these.
Mr. the Juicy, keep up the good
Mr.
work.
the Juicy.
Thanks for being a great human and awesome streamer. GG's Quagsire.
Regards to your Blizzard only run, yeah, basically Death Trap for Gauge is the worst AI in the Lands games. I contest that because Warloader exists, but it's probably one of the worst. You can at least turn off one of the more harmful behaviors, right? By not taking the shield refill skill. But I imagine it's still quite frustrating. Pet AI is not something these games do well consistently. Like, the most favorable pet AI is Auto Bear and Digiclone, and that's because they literally don't move. Then there's also Sentinel, but Sentinel literally cannot be aggroed. Like, it is more you than an actual pet. Outriders an MMO like Destiny, or is it only online or something? It's only online. It's not a live service game. A lot of the critiques of Outriders are like, oh, well, you should do this, as if it's a live service game. They've said from, before day one that it's not the intent. Just, the game's the game. They ended up kind of caving and doing some live service elements. But, the game is good. What is there is good. It's just, there's not that much game. It's one of those things, if you felt like Wonderlands had certain problems, chances are you would see those same things in Outriders. They're very similar games in strengths and weaknesses. Except, obviously, Wonderlands is not always online, and that's a huge W. Switch to poison. There we go. Ping, please work. The Pog Totem's really good for Dragon Lord fight. It's really good for Imelda fight, honestly. There's a few enemies that I don't have a huge amount of experience bossing against with Pog Totem, but like it's really good. This has been the second fastest run so far. It's only about 14 minutes slower than C100 spells. Yeah, it's been one of the fastest. Love doing Villa. Yeah, Villa Ultraviolet's cool. Chaos level. This was Chaos 50.
Look, I don't like
So, same level we did Barrage and Dire Sacrifice.
They're scared, angry, or guilty. It's time to fix that. No one has to be alone. Not even you. And all it took to learn
Storm Dragon's Judgment, Cleansing Flames, and spells were all on 100. Dire Sacrifice, Barrage, and Pog Totem were all on 50. Blizzard was on 20, and Feral Surge was on 1. I'm going to redo Feral Surge, because it can go higher. Hey Rexy, how you doing? The way I play these games, I think I'd like more Ultraviolet Villa style content, open areas. You do these separate activities, whichever order you want. Final boss after you've done each one of the takedowns. Of course, both coexist is going to be better. I mean, Molten Mirrors, the third DLC, that mirror plays out exactly like that. You have to go do these side areas. Theodore is always the end point, but you can do the side areas in whichever order you choose. Now, it doesn't have the randomized mini boss aspect that Cartels has, but like you always fight the same things. But you do have control over the order, and it's all branching out from a hub, which is the same as that. Like, if you combine Mirrors 3 and 4, you get, like, the takedown people are asking for. That's the thing. Mirrors aren't the problem, because as a format, they work. Like, Mirror 4 is initial mobbing and a small amount of waiting, depending on how fast you progress, but there is more enforced waiting. But it's waiting and mobbing until you can fight your mini boss, and then it's more mobbing as you progress through the area, eventually fighting a mid boss, and then you have your end boss. That's the structure of Maliwan Takedown. So, like, you combine that with the freeform nature of Mirror 3 and, like, the Ultraviolet cut down on the waiting. You get exactly what people wanted. Okay, stomachache from eating too much cake. You had a birthday, right? Random information sometimes just ends up in here without me processing it. You had a birthday. Happy birthday. I hope it was a good one. Samara's downfall. Any good? No. You can, like, make it better. You can make it kill things. It's not like it's impossible to work with, but it's just usually one of the worst options. The beam is hard to hit things with. It's a long animation that doesn't protect you at all, and it's got a long cooldown. The slam itself is fine. And when you hit things with the beam, like if you get bonus elements and hit them in the crit spot with the beam, it's honestly not bad. But, like, it's a problem of access and practicality, usually.
I've been told to come here and ask you about changing my, professional skill set. Right, secondary class. I was trying to be cool in roleplay, but I guess you aren't? Is that allowed? I hope you understand the gravity of me saying you
Hey, Nunu, how are you?
spine chills, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so 289 Pog Totems in an hour 45, with me just kind of forgetting I was speedrunning and throwing myself off a cliff a few times. So, definitely room to go faster, but one of the faster things we've done. Busy today, but doing well. Glad to hear things are good. Extra files also remove player dialogue. Cool. Using Fracture. Yeah, Fracture would be the first Face Slam variant. Hey, Dex, thanks for taking care of Rexy. I appreciate it. Rexy, enjoy the emotes and stuff as per usual. You know the deal. Are we getting Izzy's backstory in a DLC? Never.
The girl and she's on fire. There you go, Quack.
I just realized she has more than one action skill per tree. Yeah. Amara and Moze don't follow the... Well, none of the characters follow the same action skill and tree structure. Like, most, her action skill is Iron Bear or Iron Cub, and you can change the weapons, but there's different types of weapons, and then there's subvariants of those weapons. Black, you've got the 4 action skills, and their augments specific to those action skills. Zane, you've got the same thing, 4 action skills, augments specific to them. So I guess Flack and Zane are cut from the same cloth there, with the exception of Flack has attack command, and Zane can just choose to use 2 action skills. But with Amara, she gets action skill variants, and her augments are character-wide. So the augments can just go on any of them. So they're a little less, on average, gameplay modifying. But she's got, like, more individual action skills than any of the other characters. I'm just doing the tutorial so we can re-unlock Chaos Chamber on this save in case I want to see how far we can push totems. I think maybe we just bump to C75 and see what's what. Single Augments, wonder they didn't implement any at all in Wonderlands. Yeah, I think that's something that definitely feels like it's missing. Like, maybe it was cut for a time type feel. I don't know, but there could have been some cool augments. Like, imagine something like, for Dreadwind, you get damage reduction and bullet reflection while spinning. You know, something with flavor like that. Augments to change the elements of the element locked action skills. Imagine an augment that made Reaper of Bones drain your shields instead of your health. Could have gotten weird with it. They did some of those? What do you mean they did some of those? Action skill augments are not a thing in this game, Irish. What you're talking about. The entire conversation is they didn't. Like, where are the augments? Show me. You're saying enchants? No. If I was saying enchants, I would have said enchants. Interesting. Totem won't target a quartz. That's kind of a problem. I guess we need Echo Help for that. I sure didn't download the augment version. Honestly slacking. Like, Totem's just a supplemental damage in T100. Yeah, they're good for that. They're good for that. I don't know English, you can't prove it. True. Oh yeah, you gotta actually... Okay. Now that we have actual chamber access... Let's see what this does on C75. This is the point where you only have Primordial and Ascended gear, so this is where optimal farming is. But it's also the point where builds start to notably drop off if they, at their core, don't have the damage they need. So, like, gun builds start to feel noticeably behind at this point. So if Totem can do well here, bodes very well.
One more for the soul.
It's not bad. Anarchy.
The moss is actually set for boy talk. I bet they're dying.
You can see Zomboss has taken a minute.
How can I get a magic?
For reference, Cleansing Flames one-shot Zomboss in the playthrough on C100.
They look too comfortable
So,
with their mortality.
melee do be on a different tier. And abilities. Of course, spells also one-shot. Time to do what I said earlier in BL2 and make Saturn just randomly spawn an opportunity sometimes. I like it.
Their end is near.
So because we are in chamber now, I could use Protagonizer to greater effect.
Nothing wants that soul.
So is that Cleansing Flames one have Zombossy? Yes. It is better simply by way of being melee. Better application of crits, better formula, better skill interactions, just better. I'm at 81 out of 70. Oh, all the quest rewards, right. I don't have an ideal protagonizer here. I'll lose class power for that. Yeah, I'll wait until I have a perfect one. With or without AA. I mean, one shot is one shot. One shot before AA can do anything with full setup. But I did have AA on the setup.
I'll just put this totem here and let you handle the rest.
Favorite ward? Mace Ward is my favorite. I really like the Bronco Buster. We ran that on the Cleansing Flames setup for a nice little change of pace and some active survivability. It was nice. It's enjoyable. Best ammo for Plague Storm? Depends. Like, Plague Storm is ability damage technically, but because of its nature is it just being a double dip off of everything else you're doing, treating it like ability damage doesn't do anything for you. So, like, Barbaload's still on the table. Theurge, if you want to have frequent access to Plague Storm, is really nice. I'd say it'd be between Theurge and Barbaload. Most likely Theurge, so you can simply use the skill more. Maybe I go... Let's go Cryo... Let's go Cryo here. Or Frost. Do I have a frost one? Go lightning then. Lightning also works. Poison there. My full battery for some reason. I mean, it's visually satisfying. Doesn't do anything, but it's visually satisfying. Universal Snake Stick. That's a cool combo, yeah. The Snake Stick Hydra is a very short duration, so it's hard to take active advantage, but yeah, it's certainly a thing you can do. So this is why I did C50 for the playthrough, by the way, chat. Because, no, it's not difficulty here. Just waiting.
Everything is so alive. Let's fix that.
And it just makes the skill not look as good.
Gotta keep living to keep going.
Trident Ghostblade Universal Soldier at one point is still played. That's a cool concept. I like that. Or to some degree. Makes sense. I actually kind of wonder if you're to do like a Mistdancer gun build. You just run Ghostblade instead of From the Shadows. Like a Giga Chad. Grab play the angles, and you just use Ghostblade to have ASA enchants and trigger Universal Soldier. Funny, you could do a C100 playthrough with the real Blight action skill. What, Plague Storm? I mean, Plague Storm by itself, for the same reason Blizzard by itself was bad. Plague Storm requires other things, and then also has the duration concerns Blizzard has, except it doesn't move.
No thanks. You know what this place needs? A totem. I'm feeling a totem.
Spirit Swarm by itself. Oh, Spirit Swarm. Well, Spirit Swarm technically can't exist by itself. You need to dot with something else.
You just pop up anywhere, don't you?
Yeah, lightning on armor isn't doing me any favors right now. Let's switch back to poison. It's better.
Sulfur and brimstone are nothing next to
Cosmetic skill. Refuse to do anything that goes against the theme or make that theme useless. I shouldn't be trusted in making good builds.
Give me a hand here.
Spirit Storm with only slipping onto proc dots. Be fun. Wide Chad Sire. That is a wide Chad Sire. Hey, Felicia. Why is it so big? Okay, yeah, so that's why we did Totem on 50. That's confirmed enough for me. Let's do some Cleansing Flames. Just chill while I think of what the next run's gonna be. Just opportunity to call it Chad, sire. Why is it? Yeah, I'll show you. I don't make it a word pun. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought for a second it was like maybe it's not supposed to be wide and my shit's just borked. But now we're good. Not wide on my end. Oh, you see? See? I was right. If some encounters I just say it for it this time, discussing BS about pixies and buff mice just can't be wild. There was some of that. See, that it's not something I can sign off on. Yeah, this is the Cleansing Flame setup. And I really like Bronco Buster here. It's a good time. Let's do this featured. See what this is. Can I have wide on my end? If you're good.
Be polite to death when you see her, or else.
Like, this kind of build is shit I would never come up with. It's goal-oriented build crafting. Like, making Cleansing Flames work is just a checklist of solving problems and figuring out the most enjoyable ways to solve those problems. I didn't take cover fast enough, and that's why I like this method of survivability. It forces me to actually make good decisions. Or pay for it. Like, I'm Dedge. Pseudo-wide sire. Got a squished quag. And don't let me play how I want and simply ignore the balancing concept of the head and break the stupid thing and go back. You're not breaking shit. You're just using something monstrously overpowered and undercutting the entire point of anything else you had going on there. Like, you're not breaking shit. Don't give yourself that much credit for equipping pixies in a Buffmeister. It ain't that deep. I haven't tried Cleansing Flames versus Bunny. The way that the survivability on this build works, it would probably be quite bad in that, because we wouldn't have time to get any Bronco healing. So probably gear swap for that. Is that a bad egg map? There's just more body rune shit. I should keep like an adaptive trick mirror for that. That would be good. There be lunchtime? Sounds good. I've also never tested if you can Cleansing Flames the Maker. Wouldn't be good, but... Are we using copy pastas to convince ourselves that we're having fun while using Pixie's Buffmeister? Is that what's happening in the chat right now? Like, I've seen almost word for word that same argument for someone who gave themselves every skill in their skill tree at the same time in Borderlands 3. Almost word for word. Like, it's kind of beyond parody. Not even fun, that's the reason? Then play a build that's fun to you. I don't understand. Or tweak the difficulty until a concept you want to use works well enough for you to have fun. I guess I just don't understand the point. Melee builds versus Imelda? Yeah, the thing is, don't bring melee builds to Imelda. Like, obviously she shouldn't be designed in such a way that she just walls off that many builds. But, like, you, as the player, with the knowledge that that's how she works, can simply just create a situation where you never have to see her. I guess I just don't understand the point.
A little life now, a lot of culling later.
Like, I, as someone generally unwilling to aim, don't tend to play many aim-intensive builds, because I would not have fun putting myself in that situation. So I don't do it. Like, I think farming sucks, so I don't do it. Am I overthinking this? Beak bonk. It's no longer in the air balance, it's enemy design. Right, Imelda does not have, like, a large amount of health. She's not, you know, defensively stacked or anything. Her hitboxes just don't fucking work because she's poorly designed. That's it. That's all it is. That's not balance. That's just game no work. like the QA for making sure players can actually play in a room with Imelda was not triple checked. Camera to fix that. Personal playstyle, as I mentioned, the personal experience is sort by game design. I'm sure you're just wording this poorly, but the way this is coming across is I stuck my dick in a toaster and it's poorly designed, so it burned me. Like, don't put your dick in the toaster. Like, that's the energy that's coming through here. Only burn you if you turn it on. True. See, Roddy with the life hacks.
One more for the soul fire.
I'll be sure to make sure it's off next time. Oh no. Are you guys okay today? Are you good? You need to talk. It's one of the covering things you're not super fond of eating with a lot of cheese. I guess that makes sense with the example you gave earlier. I guess. But the logic still holds true of just like, then don't put it in your mouth. Like, if you don't want to eat you, if you don't want to eat you, if you don't want to eat it, I don't want to eat me either. But that's neither here nor there. If you don't want to eat it, then just like don't fucking put it in your mouth. These fire-resistant enemies, so rude. Shoot yourself lighting the background. Hitbox issue. So food that I paid for, it came with a dish. Just happen to have cheese at home. I'm not throwing away food. It's not like it's the only thing from that restaurant that you paid for, though. Don't get eaten? No, like, then, I mean, I guess. Hey, son. I'm just doing some chill Pog Totem, or not Pog Totem, Cleansing Flames while we cool down from Pog Totem run. And thinking about what run to do next. Thinking Ghostblade next. We either do Ghostblade next, or we revisit the Feral Surge run.
Wipe your shoes off at death's door.
Maybe we could do that today. Rerun Feral Surge. Because I already have the save set up for that. I haven't made the Ghostblade, or Dreadwind, or Reaper, or Polymorph saves yet. Gun only. I suppose that's a run that could do no action skill. Like, There's no reason you have to fight Imelda if you don't do her DLC and a character you don't get her in Chambers like an Irish shit. Yeah, exactly. Like, my whole thing was just don't fucking do it. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to, and you won't have to use strategies that just kind of undermine the entire point of playing the game. But, like, to each their own. Some people like sticking it in a toaster, and, you know, it's not my thing, but I suppose I shouldn't judge. Ragnarok melee only. Why? It's coming from Imelda's little helper. Yeah, that's the #1 Imelda lover in the world right there. Start playing other people's builds, see if any of them line up their playstyle. Find them for gear that help towards their playstyle. Well, the spell build I play is basically just like slightly different gear on the spell setup rune made. So like it's just that already. If I was gonna do Frost Shiver melee that wasn't based around Dreadwind, then I would just play Blender. Oh, that wasn't a me? Okay. Okay. Forgot to attack. No, you're good. You're good. Flying enemies. I can't quite hit them. And I hit you. Yeah, I can. Aha. I have the Stab-O-Matic for this, but I'm being stubborn. There's still a vertical hitbox to it, so it's something. Wait, if there's a vertical hitbox to Cleansing Flames, why does it fail on stairs? I'm thinking too hard. Okay, we got the bonus. Neat. Maybe I should come back to this game and allow myself freedom to save editing, even though I hate to do it, and try to do more of that goes with Universal Soldier stuff. It sounds like a fun concept, honestly. And like, gun build sounding fun to me is not a frequent thing. I got knocked into that barrel and bonked it with all my might. Just massively dislike the act of doing so, even if the outcome is positive. It's something I didn't want to do at first, but like, the thing is, the enemy is not the act of save editing, it's the circumstances that make it necessary. gun needs manually most of the time, which is inefficient by comparison. But also, it's just another thing I always say is if I wanted to play a regular shooter, I'm not gonna play these games. Like, it's not what I'm here for. I placed myself poorly there. I went about as poorly as it could have.
Till death, I said, die! Stuck on cinders!
That was a better hit. Alright, have you tried repeated cast Arc Torrent spells on spell setup? It's one of my favorite purple lighting spells. I've not. I'm very doubtful that it'll perform to my rather unreasonable standards, but I'd be willing to try. No challenge, what are we doing? We're just chilling right now. Just doing Cleansing Flames C100 because it was asked about, and I needed a few minutes to think about what I was going to do next. I'm also doing this without a Stampede spam for a bit of a science experiment. This could go faster. I forgot to live tweet today, didn't I? Oh well. Too late now. It's all battery dagger storm melee damage? Yes. Yes it is. It's one of the things that makes it crazy powerful. I was fun around that combo. He just goes to and stab up Burr. For Burr Capstone to keep up Ghostblade, do you have any other class combos, or is kind of what you go for as well? That's an option. I'd probably go with something other than Burr for the reason of, like, making the gun part better. Like, Burr makes gun better, but I'd go with something else. So I can lean into the build concept. bit more. But it would be workable, because Bird provides stuff to the Ghost Blade itself, and to the guns, and gives you good survivability. Just, I'm a picky bitch. We search for alternatives to Dazzler and Cloudburst Arc Turns, didn't like Arcane Bolt that much. What about Arcane Bolt wasn't doing it for you, out of curiosity? It's one of my favorites, personally. Brain's dying, Assault and Battery Storm, 20% of card damage at base, or 20% of triggering hit. I don't remember. Put it this way, enough damage that I don't think it matters.